Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a topic that is becoming increasingly important in our modern world as it becomes more and more diverse. Every single day in our professional and personal lives, we're interacting with people from different backgrounds and cultures. Because of this, it's really important to understand diversity and how to foster inclusive and equitable environments for everyone in them. Today we have our in-house expert, Dr. Jaimee Stuart, here to talk to us today all about diversity, equity and inclusion. Welcome, Jaimee. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us today about diversity, equity and inclusion. I thought we'd start off our discussion today by talking about diversity. So can you tell me a little bit about diversity? What does it mean?
Diversity literally means a variety. A variety of things, a variety of people, a variety of different points of view. So normally when we talk about diversity, we tend to mean cultural diversity. But there are actually many other types of diversity in the societies that we live in. And societies themselves can be diverse, just as individuals can come from diverse points of view or wear diverse hats or identities.
Okay, I just wanted to ask for clarification on that point because I think normally when we think about diversity, we're thinking of races and ethnicities. Does diversity cover more than that, like ages or maybe social classes?
Yeah, there are many other types of diversity. Diversity such as gender diversity, sexuality diversity, religious diversity, and there are even subcultural types of diversity. So any group that can consider itself to be distinct could have its own diverse identity. And all of those groups exist within a broader framework of understanding diverse peoples. And as I said, one individual may actually come from many different points of view, and therefore we can have internal types of diversity as well as diversity among groups.
Why is diversity important, especially in our modern society?
Diversity is important because it's a reality. We no longer live in a world that is disconnected or homogenous. We live in a world where we're connected to different groups of people every day through processes like migration, movement across cultural borders, but also through technological innovation, where we're connected to different groups of people every day through media. So we can ignore the fact that there are many different people in the world, but we're exposed to it and actually engage with it on a daily basis. So diversity itself is a state of being and a reality that we all now live in, regardless of whether we reside in a multicultural and diverse nation or not.
I also wanted to ask you, how can we foster more diverse environments and also make sure that the environments that diverse people are in are welcoming?
The first place to start is by understanding that we live in those environments, by recognizing that majority groups are just that, and that minority groups in a society also represent important points of view. It's not the only way. Awareness is just the beginning, but the more that we can actually grow to understand who those people are, what they think is important and how they interact, the more that we can move towards equity and inclusion, where everybody within that state of diversity feels as though they belong.
So it sounds like what you're saying, we really need to listen or get out and talk to diverse people to really understand what it is they would like out of society. How do we make them feel included?
We need to understand that we live in those societies. We also need to raise awareness of diversity in ourselves. So who we are as a diverse people, what sorts of diverse people live within our society. So be aware not just of others, but also of ourselves.
What would an actually diverse society or workforce look like?
It would look like a place where the people that live in the nation or the context of that workplace are represented. It would look like a place where there is enough representation of those people that it makes sense for the demographics of diversity of the nation.
Right.
So that each person has a place. Not just that there's only one group of people who are all making the decisions, who are all the people that are hired in, but rather that people in leadership and people who are subordinates come from diverse backgrounds.
You mentioned just then about representation as well. It seems like there's a point of danger there for tokenism.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. And by tokenism, that is having only one or two people who represent diverse groups in societies, particularly diverse cultural groups, and then believing that those people are representative of everyone in their group. Yeah, there is a danger of being tokenistic when we're talking about building diversity of an organisation or an institution. And what we need to do is understand, like I said previously, that just because somebody belongs to one group doesn't mean that it's the most important group to them or the only identity that they have. So representation needs to be multifaceted, and we can't treat people just as a member of the group that we think that's important to them or that we think that they belong to.
Would you say that living in a diverse world or having a diverse workforce is positive? What are the benefits of diversity?
Diversity has so many benefits. Benefits at the interpersonal level, like it can help us grow as individuals. The more contact you have with people who are not like you, the more open-minded you're likely to become. The more you're likely to understand yourself and to understand others, to grow your cultural competencies. But it's also really beneficial at both an organisational and social level. At an organisational level, what we know is that diversity helps with innovation, creativity, and problem solving. So the more diverse perspectives that you have tackling a problem, the more likely you are to come up with new solutions to that problem. So diverse points of view can help us be better as an organisation, be more effective, and therefore we grow our bottom line as well as growing the health and well-being of our workforces.
Right, I see now. Thank you very much for explaining, giving a very comprehensive explanation of what diversity is. Now I wanted to ask you some questions about